David, but close, don't worry. We managed to get ourselves very, very close to this leopard. It is so, so cool. So just above me right now is where he is at the moment. He's now become kind of very chilled with us. Look, he's just leaning back. Every now and then his eyes even start to close a little bit, and it's an epic view of this leopard against this kind of stormy, windy sky behind him. It really is quite pleasant. Now, I apologize about the wind if it's still bad in my microphone. It's not really much we can do in the way that we parked at the moment. The wind is going to be howling, but look at that. He's kind of starting to fall asleep. Hello, boy. That is so cool. There's something about spending the whole afternoon just trying to edge a little bit more, and eventually kind of being accepted and allowed to come as close as we've gotten has been quite special. So we are so fortunate that we're managing to kind of get these views of him. I doubt we could ask for anything better at this stage. You know, it obviously was a bit tricky this morning with Sydney, and then this afternoon we didn't want to push him in any way whatsoever, and now we've managed to get ourselves into the kind of best possible position that we could ask for, and he's absolutely chilled with us being here, which is wonderful. Look at that. Roberts, no, not as far as I know. I mean, I don't know of any particular theories as to where he's come from or kind of what he's been up to and what his history is and how far he's traveled. It's obviously quite difficult, but he's not a Sabi sand leopard as far as we know. It seems like he's maybe come out of potentially the Kruger, Timbavati, that area, and then through the Manyeleti, kind of down towards where we are now. But difficult to say. I mean, you know, if you look at somebody like Hukamuri and how far he ended up moving, you know, it's very possible that he could have gone same sort of distance of 200-300 kilometers from north of Kruger, east of Kruger. It's very difficult for us to know exactly where he could be. So, you know, at this stage we don't know 100% where he came from, but I know that a lot of people have looked and tried to find younger photos of him, but so far no luck as yet as to where he could possibly have kind of come from at this stage. We don't know, and he's a bit of a mystery, which is always nice. A bush mystery is always good. And like I say, it's very cool to make an acquaintance of a new leopard and kind of see him around. As long as he doesn't chase Hosana, I'm all good with him being around every now and then. But you can see his right eye's got a bit of damage to it. Even when he closes them, that right eye still stays a little bit open. And I believe some of you were noticing that he's got a big bump on his neck as well. So I wonder if maybe he hasn't had a bit of a run-in with a number of different leopards in his life. Either way, he still looks physically quite fit, though. He doesn't exactly look as though he's too kind of small or like he's got, you know, thin or around the hips or anything like that. His belly's fairly full and his general coat condition is very good. So he seems to be healthy, other than a few kind of minor bumps and bruises around the body, and obviously a few scars that have probably dictated why he's not become a dominant male. He's maybe been beaten up a little bit as time has gone on. Now I see that Sydney is kind of driving Weaver's Nest Road. We had squirrels alarm calling, so I don't know if maybe Sydney's kind of can just keep checking that area. That's the last time we saw Asano, is where Sydney came past. Lou, if you want to just let him know. Unfortunately, I can't with the radio the way it is. So he's kind of in the right area. If he maybe just turns back up towards Weaver's Nest or Pangolin Track, he might get lucky and check around that area. There's quite a few things going on in that area. He's definitely moved from the termite mound where he was. Gigi, evidently not. So given that he's got his backside firmly planted on that of a female impala, the bump on his leg seemingly does not interfere with his hunting in any way whatsoever. He's seemingly able to pull down a rather large carcass, and you can see he's kind of looking around now. It might be because there's another car in the area. I suspect that he's probably a one vehicle cat at the moment at this proximity. I don't think we could probably squeeze too many more cars in this area. I think he's pretty chilled with the fact that there's one car, but as soon as maybe 2 or 3 are added, they maybe make him a little bit more nervous as to what's going on. So, you know, we just try and kind of figure out exactly whether or not he's comfortable. He seems alright though. He's not kind of standing up. He's still kind of got his backside down, and that's always a good thing. But you know, obviously with that front end, if there starts to be a little bit of an issue and starts to be a bit of a kind of swelling that increases and there's a bit more kind of build-up of fluids in there, maybe it could potentially start hampering his hunting. But for now, I don't think so. For now, I think you've got a situation where he's probably in all likelihood kind of all right. And like I say, he's caught this impala, and so it seems as though he's perfectly fine. Oh, beautiful though, isn't it? He's a bit beaten up, isn't he? His ears are a bit scarred too. I wonder what things he's seen. I actually think he might be older than we even think. He might even be closer to sort of 9, 10. His ears are showing quite a lot of damage. You can see that, especially that right ear. They definitely... Courtney, I doubt it. So while Tingana is very tolerant of Hosana at this stage, he knows that that's his son and that he doesn't need to worry as much. Whereas this is a rival male. This is much like Hukamuri or potentially, you know, another rival like Quarantine or something like that. And so I doubt Tingana will be impressed to see a leopard like this. And I'm pretty sure this male would run away from Tingana. While Tingana is not, you know, in his prime and he's starting to get older, he's still a massive individual and is really in good condition at the moment. Now it seems like he's all of a sudden gotten a lot more alert, doesn't it? It's kind of staring off into that sunset that's gone down, but he looked a little bit more wide-eyed all of a sudden. Don't see anything. Maybe it's just a hyena that's milling about somewhere in that area. Alright, boy. You're just readjusting. He's kind of got himself sitting on this branch and leaning on another one. I'm worried that that one branch is going to break though, and he's going to end up falling on his side, but so far he seems to have managed just fine. Right, now while we sit with Umfocazi, it sounds like Sydney's had some success and has managed to find Hosana not too far away.